Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be making paper folders. I'm just going to show you a few examples of what I've been making. So this is the one we're going to make today. It's a little paper briefcase, and if I take the flaps up you can see this is what we'll be making. Different compartments. You can see inside I'm storing some of my lockdown letters from friends in here today, and it's all just made out of paper. Also done this other example which is made, it's just tied at the top, this one. It's made out of printer paper, and then I've just used the back of a cereal box and collaged over it with scraps from newspapers. And then if you don't have any coloured paper, don't worry, you can do a plain white version with printer paper and then colour it in. So this is just made from plain A4 printer paper, stuck together with some Pritt stick, and then you can colour it in afterwards and let your imagination go wild with that. It's a blank canvas and you can do anything you like. So today I will be showing you how to make this one. You can use any colour you like. I've got some brown paper here, brown and black paper, and I've got a bit of gold from a bit of gold card. You don't need that much. Let's scrap here. You can also use tin foil stuck to some paper if you want to make some shiny card. So to start with, let's just check that we've got all our materials. So we need some paper, check. For this I used, for each compartment you will need one piece of A4 paper. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of paper for the whole thing. That includes the cover. So I've got my paper, need pen and pencil, a ruler, some scissors and some glue. I'm going to use a Pritt stick today, but PVA will also work fine. So to start with, I will tilt the camera forward so you can see what I'm doing on the table. So I'm just going to say bye for now there and tuck down so you can see my workspace. So we're going to start off by making the compartments themselves. And I'm going to make my dividers here a different colour to my compartments so you can see clearly what I'm doing. But if you want to make them the same colour, you can. So I'll put this to one side. We take first a piece of paper. I'm going to make 3 compartments today, but you can make as many as you would like. So to make a compartment, first of all I take a piece of A4 paper and I'm going to take these 2 bottom corners to the top corners to fold it in half. Be as accurate as you can. So I'm just meeting these 2 corners together, match them up, hold them down and crease along the bottom. That's one. And another one. So I'm going to take these 2 corners and match them to these 2 corners. Hold it together. Now be as accurate as you can with this and keep the folds nice and sharp. Got 2. I'm going to take our last piece here. Again, taking these 2 corners to these 2 corners and folding it in half. Hello everyone who's joined, thank you for joining. Hello Joanna. So here you can see it's folded in half down the middle, and we should have 1, 2, 3. And these are going to be our 3 compartments. Okay, so I now need to put this to one side, and we're now going to make this part here, these separators that lets the pocket expand. And to do this, you will need to take another piece of paper, the same size. I'm using A4 again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take these 2 bottom corners to the top 2 corners and fold it in half. Increase it along. And then we're going to fold this in half again. So we're going to turn it round, and so it's a portrait, and take these 2 corners to these 2 corners and hold it together. Be as accurate as you can. And fold and crease. Now these crease lines are going to become our cut lines. So if I open it out, you should be able to see we've got 4 segments. We're going to cut along here and here, and this will create 4 separators, but we're going to need 6, so I'm going to get another piece of paper. I'm going to do the same thing again, fold it in half, crease it, and half again. Fold. So if I open this out, should have 4 more segments. So I'm going to now cut along these crease lines, so we'll end up with 4 separate pieces of paper. So just going to be as accurate as you can. Because these sections need to be the same length as your pocket. I will just show you what I mean by that in a minute. So the length of this piece of paper needs to be the same length as your pocket, so they will fit together. That's why you need to be as accurate as you can. If it's too big, it will stick out the top a little bit. It'll still work, just to keep it tidy. So we've got 4. We need 2 more, so I'm going to take the other piece of paper that I folded earlier. I'm going to cut down the middle. Now we'll put this piece of paper to one side. We can use it for decorating. And then these 2 pieces of paper will become 2 more dividers. Okay, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of paper. We need 2 pieces of paper for each segment. We're making three segments today, but you can just make one if you don't want to make all of them. You can just make one and then decorate them. Perhaps if you've got a younger maker with you who doesn't want to make the whole thing. So now I'm going to show you how to transform this flat piece of paper into a springy piece of paper that will allow us to expand the folder. So, take our piece of paper and we put it landscape, so the long side is facing us, and we're going to take these two corners and fold it in half to meet these two corners. Okay, so take this edge to this edge. Again, be as accurate as you can. And then, so we have it folded in half. Okay, and then keep it flat on the table. We're going to take the top layer and we're going to take this line down to the folded edge. So take these top two corners and fold it back down to the folded edge and line it up with that fold. Crease it. So you should have something that looks a bit like this. You see? I'm going to repeat this as well, so if you haven't quite got it this time, we'll try again. So now you've got the first spring, we're going to turn it over and take the top edge again back down to that fold. Again, try and be as accurate as you can. Oh, hello to everyone who's joined. We are making, Sarah, a folder, paper folder to organise all your bits and pieces. I'm making this one look a bit like a briefcase, but you can do any different types. So, if you've done that, you should have something that looks a bit like an M. Can you see that? An M. And that's your first compartment separator piece of paper. So we're going to put this to one side now, and we'll take our another piece of paper. We're going to repeat the process for every piece of paper, so I'm going to go through it again in case you haven't picked it up just yet. That's fine. We're going to fold it in half lengthways, crease, take the top edge and fold it back down to that fold you've just creased. Turn it over, take the top back down to the fold you've just creased. Okay. So we have our second M. So I'll do that again. Fold it in half. You can do this one lengthways if it helps. So I'm taking this top leaf and I'm matching this edge to the folded edge here. So match up that corner, crease it. And turn it over, take this edge to the folded edge. Be as accurate as you can. I hope everybody is staying safe and well and sane during this lockdown. There you go, another M. So we're halfway there now. Fold it in half. There we go. Take the top layer down to the bottom fold. Crease. So it looks like half an M. Fold it over. Take the top edge down to the bottom. Great. And crease. Great. So we have another M. So I'm going to do this 2 more times now, guys. So take your piece of paper, fold it in half. You will need 2 M's for each segment. So if you want to add another segment, you should have 2 spare squares over here. If you want to use that to make another segment, you can do. Feel free to make as many as you would like. Just making 3 today. So I need 6 M's. Yeah, keep the creases nice and sharp. Last one, fold it in half. Take the top leaf, down over, turn it over, take this top edge down to the folded edge, and crease. That's great. So we should have 6 M's. Brilliant. So I'm going to take 2 of these to make the first compartment. So I need 2 M's and one of our folded pieces of paper that we folded earlier. And you'll see why we need the long edges, this long edge of the folded piece and the short edge of the folded piece to be the same length, because we're going to put one inside the other. So take your folded paper and unfold it. You'll need your glue stick for this bit, and I will be sticking them to the top piece, but it doesn't matter as long as you stick them on the same side. So take your first M, and with the middle part, the middle fold, pointing inwards to the paper, and the 2 outside folds pointing outwards of the paper, you're going to stick it lining the 2 outside folds to this edge of the paper and the bottom to the middle crease of the paper. Okay, so I'll just show you now. Take your glue stick and your M, and put plenty of glue on this. If you're particularly messy, you might want to put some paper down. I've put a sheet of paper down so don't get glue everywhere. And then with the middle fold pointing inwards to the paper and the 2 outside folds pointing to the outside edge, I'm going to line the bottom of the M with the crease and the outside edge to the outside edge. Line it all up and stick it down. Press it down to make sure it's stuck. There you go. So it should look something like this. We're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to take this M, again lining the 2 outside folds to the outside edge. Take my glue stick, put plenty of glue on, and then line it up. Press it down, got a bit of glue there. Press it down. There we go. So now all we need to do is put glue on here and here, and we're going to fold this flap over and stick it down. So take your glue stick, again putting plenty of glue on, I'm using Pritt Stick, but you can use PVA if you don't have a Pritt Stick, or double-sided tape will also work. Anything to stick it with. Okay, so take this flap and as accurately as you can line these edges up with those edges and press it down. You should have something, should have a compartment, a folded compartment now. There you go. Now you can leave it like this if you like. You can just put a cover on the one compartment, punch a hole in the top and tie it together and decorate it. But we're going to carry on because we need 3 compartments for our briefcase. So there's one completed one. So I'm going to take the next folded piece of paper and I'm going to repeat the same process. So we need 2 more M's. And the first one, and put glue on one side. And then making sure that the 2 outside folds are matching up with the outside edge of the paper, and the bottom short edge is matching with the middle crease. Line all those edges up. It doesn't matter if it sticks out the top a little bit. This one, you can see it's sticking out the top just a tad. I can go back over and trim that with scissors, but if it goes over this middle crease line, it then becomes difficult to fold it. So if we line it up with this middle crease line and that 2 folded edges on the outside, makes it nice and neat. If you're wanting to make a slightly wider folder and you don't have any wider paper, you can also only put glue on half of the M and line it up halfway, so it actually makes it so you can fit A5 paper in. But today we are lining it up. It's quite fiddly, only doing half. Okay. You might be getting sticky fingers. You also might want to have some tissue nearby or something to wipe your hands on. They get covered in glue. So I'm going to take my glue stick again and I will put the glue on the tops of these folded pieces of paper. And again, I'm making a brown bag today because I have a lot of brown paper in the house, but you can do any colour you like. Again, take your piece of paper and fold it as accurately as you can over the top. Line up the edges. The glue won't dry straight away, so you can manoeuvre it a little bit. And I'm just pressing it down to make sure it's stuck. We have another compartment. Brilliant. So now we've got 2, we need our final one. And I'm going to take our 2 M's. And you can alternate the colours in these as well. You don't have to do it all the same colour. You can do a stripy bag, 2 alternating colours. So again, last time I'm just taking my Pritt Stick and I'm putting it all over one side of my M, and I'm going to line up the 2 outside folds to the outside edge of this piece of paper and the short fold to the middle crease. So there we go. Hope everyone's with me so far. Oh, hello Izzy! So we're going to press it down, one side done. Take our other M, put glue on one edge. And again, last time, lining it up so the 2 outside folds are lined up with the outside edge, and the short edge at the bottom of your M is lined up with the middle crease. And just manoeuvre it so it's in the right place. Press it down. Here we are. And then put glue on this edge and this edge. Just take your glue stick and put plenty of glue on. And then take your half of your paper and fold it up, manoeuvre it so it lines up with those edges and all the corners match up. Just press it down. Got the glue peeping out there, don't want that. So open it out, and there we are, our final folder. So now we're going to take all 3 of our folders and stick them together so they form the main part of our bag. Okay? So to do this, simply take your first compartment and your glue stick. I'm just going to spread some glue all over one side of this. Make sure you cover the corners and edges. They are easily forgotten. And then a bit in the middle as well. Then we take our second compartment, and all we do, making sure that the open top is lined up with the open top and the closed bottom is lined up with the other bottom of the pocket. You don't want to be gluing it upside down. Line all the corners up and just simply stick it on top and press it down. Okay. So now we should have 2 pockets. I'm just going to do that again. So take your glue stick and pop glue all over the side, making sure you get those corners and edges. Glue. And take your third pocket, again making sure the top is lined up with the top. Line up all your corners and edges and just stick it on top and press it down. And then just open it out just to make sure it's not sticking to itself. You should have something that looks like this. Now you can leave it like this if you like, at this stage, if you just want to create a hardcover for it, you can just draw around it on a piece of card, stick it on and collage it or draw on it or paint on it. This one I just used an old cereal box and some papers from magazines and post-it notes and things, and I just collaged all over it and punched a hole in the top and tie it with a piece of string. But this one, we're going to carry on with this one to make the briefcase. So I'm going to create a cover that looks a bit like a little bag. Again, you can use any colour you like and accessorise it with anything, any bits of card or paper you have lying around. So we've made our 3 sections for the inside. Now going to just reinforce the outside with another piece of paper, because this paper's quite flimsy and I want to make it a bit stronger on the outside for the cover. So I'm going to take another piece of A4 paper and I'm going to lay our folder on top, and I'm just going to line it up with 2 of the edges, and then taking a pencil, draw down one side. Don't know if you can see this. Up. You can see I've drawn a line. I'm going to extend this line using a ruler. I'll draw this in pen so you can see. So that's the width of my folder. Now don't worry about this top bit, this will become our flap on our bag. Okay, so I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut down that line. So if you want to make the straps the same colour as the bag, you can use this piece of paper. But for now I'm going to put it to one side. I'm going to take my folder, I'm going to line it up and stick it on. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all over one side of my folder. Okay, again making sure you're going right to the edge and right to those corners. They're always the bits that come away first. So putting a bit extra on those corners. Now I'm just going to line up the bottom edge as best I can and the corners as best I can. So just line it all up. You see? Just lined it up. Stick it down. And then I'm going to take this top flap, I'm just going to fold it over like so. You should now have something that has a flap, and then you can open it out and you have your 3 compartments. Okay? So I think I'm actually going to make it look a bit more like a bag by rounding these 2 corners off. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just take the corners off slightly. You don't have to. It's just a nice little detail that makes it look a bit less like paper, a bit more like a little briefcase. Great. So you can also reinforce this side by sticking another piece of card or paper on it. What I think I'm going to do on this one, you can see I made a little front pocket, and I think we've got time to make another little front pocket. So what I used was a piece of paper that was actually slightly smaller than A4. Can you see? So just slightly smaller than A4. You can use any size you want. If you want to put a tiny little pocket on there, just use a tiny little piece of paper. But I'm going to use this size, so it will fit nicely onto my bag. And I'm going to fold it in half, like so, crease along the bottom, and then I'm going to need a piece of paper that is the same length as, same height, sorry, as my pocket. And this is slightly taller, so I'm just going to measure how long it is. Draw a little line. Take my ruler, extend that, and I don't want this pocket to extend quite as wide as these, so I'm also going to make this piece of paper narrower. So I'm just going to take about 2 centimetres off. Like that. I'm just going to cut these out now. This is an optional extra, you don't have to do this, but if you want to have a go, just giving you a few options. So now I should have 2 slightly smaller pieces of paper that are the same height as my slightly smaller pocket. I'm going to do the same thing as we did before. Take your piece of paper, fold it in half, take the top leaf and bring this top edge down to the folded edge. Okay? A bit more fiddly because it's a tad smaller. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to take this top edge to the folded edge at the bottom. Cool. So you should have an M. I'm going to do this again. So take, fold it in half lengthways. Crease. Take this edge up to the folded edge, turn it over, this edge to the folded edge. I'm going to take my pocket, a slightly smaller folded piece of paper. I'm just going to stick these M's the same way as we did before. It's all the same process, same method, and you can just change it up to different sizes, different colours. Now, I'm making sure that these 2 outside folded edges match up with the outside edge of the paper. Now you could use these storing recipes in. Maybe you've been finding some good recipes during the lockdown. You need somewhere to store them, or you need somewhere to store some important documents or letters from friends. That's what I'll be using mine for. I'll be using mine for my postcards and my letters. or my writing paper. I could keep my writing paper in there. Fold that up, making sure all the edges look sharp and neat. So there we are, another little pocket. I'm just going to put glue all over this side. Again, make sure you get into those corners. Cool. I'm going to stick this on the front. In the middle. Press it down. It's a bit wonky. Just move that slightly. There we go. We have a front pocket on our briefcase. So now we need some straps, and I'm going to simply take an A4 piece of paper, put the folder at the bottom of the A4 piece of paper, and then take the top part and fold it over. Okay? I'm just going to crease it. And then all I'm going to do is use the width of my ruler. It's about 3 centimetres, 3 or 4 centimetres, and draw a line. And that is going to be the width of my strap. Let's do it again. Need 2 straps. Whoop. Yeah. If you do end up making any of these things from the Artcore CRAFTERNOON tutorials, it would be really nice to see what you guys have been making, so you can always post a picture to the Artcore page so you can see what you've been up to and what you might be using these for. I think these will also be really good for homeschool projects. You need somewhere to store your work, or maybe you're doing some drawings during the lockdown and you need somewhere to put them. So I've got my 2 straps here, and I'm going to round off one end just simply by taking my scissors. You can draw around a circle. I'm just going to round off those edges, just on the one side, on the one edge. Okay, so let's take this one and just round it off so it looks a bit more like a strap. Okay. And then all we're going to do is put glue on the bottom halves of the strap. You might want to measure this bit, or you can do it by eye. So we turn our folder over, so you've got the plain side without the flap on, and we're going to about 3 centimetres in, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Just stick it on, and then again on the other side. We want about 3 centimetres in again. You can do it by eye if you like. It doesn't matter too much. You might not want symmetrical straps, you might want different ones. Okay, and then we're going to take this flap and we're just going to fold it outwards and draw a little line onto our straps so we can see where we need to put the glue. So you see, I've drawn a little line, and now I know where I can put my glue. So I'm going to put my glue on that part of the strap, but not above the line, because we need those straps to be nice and free flowing. And then all we're going to do is take these straps over and stick it down. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Cool! So now we need some buckles. And all I've got here is some shiny gold card that I've actually cut off a cover of one of my sketchbooks, but you can use tin foil stuck onto some card, maybe some food packaging with shiny bits on, or just a different colour if you like. So I'm going to need it about 1.5 centimetres wider than my strap. It doesn't have to be super accurate. Just want it about that wide. Just going to cut it down. And then I want it about 1.5 centimetres thick as well. So this is just my preference. You can do anything you like really, that any type of buckle. It's just something that will hold your flap down in place. So we've got our 2 pieces of gold card here, and I'm just going to take a strap and place it in the middle, and holding the strap and the card together, fold this piece of gold card round your strap. Okay, and then unfold and do that again with the other strap. Take your piece of gold card, holding the strap, just be careful not to fold the black paper with it, but just fold this piece of gold card around your strap, and then that will give you the width of your buckle needs to be. Okay, and I'm just going to again take the corners off this gold card so they look a bit more like a buckle. I'm just going to snip corners off like that. So you have one, and again just with the other one. Snip it all on. There we go. So now we've got our 2 buckles. Great, so all we need to do is put glue on the folded tabs that we've just created, not in the middle, just the folded tabs. So take your glue stick, pop a bit of glue on each tab. And then holding your top flap down, take your first buckle and just place it over about halfway in between the flap and the bottom, about halfway. And you have one. You take your other one, and wherever you've put this one, you want to line it up as much as you can with the other one. You see? Doesn't matter if they're slightly wonky, that's fine. So you should have something that looks a bit like this. Great. So now I'm going to show you how to make the handle. So I'm going to use the piece of paper that I cut off earlier for the cover. So using this piece of paper, I'm just going to, well, you can fold it in half or fold it into 3. I'm going to fold it. I think I'm just going to fold it in half actually. Or into no, I'm folding it into 3 and I'm just cutting the 3rd off because we don't need it to be too thick. So I've just taken a bit off. Okay. And then this bit's quite tricky. Find out where your handle, how long you want your handle to be. You can use a longer piece of paper if you want a bigger handle. And then find the middle and then just make the middle wider, so you split it into 3 parts. Can you see? And then I'm just going to keep my finger on here, and then I'm going to bring this folded line so it goes vertical. So I'm holding this down, I'm just pulling on this edge, and I'm bringing it over like that. So we should get a 45-degree angle fold. It's a bit tricky, you might need a couple of attempts, but we then take our other side and we're going to do the same. So we're going to hold on to this edge, keep your finger here, and bring this edge up. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just bringing this edge over, and then I'm just creasing it down. Oh, it's not quite the same length. There we go, I'll do it again. So there you are, with a handle. Now if it's a bit wonky, if one side's longer than the other, that's fine, you can just trim it to the same length. I'm just going to put a little blob of glue on the inside flaps of these, just to stick it together, and then a little blob of glue on the bottom of the handle, and all I'm going to do is stick it to the back, and I'm lining mine up with my straps. Make it as high as you, big or small as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be the same size. So there you are, you have a handle. And all I've done with this one is I've added a little gold piece of paper and some dots with a pen, just to make it look like little screws or bolts. And then I've put some dots on the straps as well, so I think I've got a tiny bit of time just to do that now. So I'm just going to take my pen and I'm just going to put some dots on here. Like that. And then I've got a little bit of scrap card, and I'm just going to make a little emblem. You can write whatever you like on there. So I'm just going to take a piece of card, and I'm just going to snip the corners off so it matches this side. I'm just going to stick it there, and you can write your name here or what you're keeping in your folder. Or Prada if you want to make it branded. So there you go, there's how you make your own paper organiser folder. I've got my postcards in here and some letters, and then you can tuck your straps in and it should hold everything in place. So thank you. Hello everyone. Sorry you haven't seen my face, but I hope that has been fun and interesting, and I hope you can find some use maybe to make one of these, maybe as a gift or just storage. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been really lovely, and I hope everybody's staying safe and well and sane, and keep crafting. Hope you have a lovely rest of your afternoon, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.